Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano.
And I'm Mary Bridget Fasciano, Peter's sister.
Yeah, today's Monday, and we're going to be doing a rye whiskey review. We just got back from California. Stick around until the very end if you want some information on our barbecue competition and on the May and June giveaway. So what we got today is the brand new Knob Creek 10-year rye. I kind of figured we're going to, hit two birds with one stone here. I'm going to do the Knob Creek 10 rye and Knob Creek rye 7-year. And I'm going to get into some information here in a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour it, nose it, taste it, talk about it a little bit, add some water, and then if you stick around until the end, we're going to give each one a score. So why don't you pour? That's great. Pour those, and I'll pour these.
Okay.
So typically, I will just do one review at a time. But taking a look at my catalog of whiskey, I've got like 50 years of content. So I'm going to start thinking about doing comparisons of whiskey and then giving two scores at a time. So
this one is so much lighter than that one.
If you're into that and you are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. If you end up liking this, turn that bell notification on because I produce videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
And feel free to share it with your friends.
Yeah, do that as well. So on our left, we have the Knob Creek 10, and then on the right, we have the Knob Creek 7. So let's go ahead and jump into the 7.
So that means 10-year-old, 7-year-old
yes.
aged. Okay.
So let's go ahead and jump in. Well, first of all, the information on this, they're both 100 proof. I think Knob Creek is pretty much either 100 proof or 120 proof. I think there might be one that's 115 proof, but they're typically pretty consistent with their proofs. There's an undisclosed mash bill, but I believe it's going to be the barely minimum rye, or at least that's what people are saying, probably 51%, maybe a little bit more. They are going for $69.99, and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, if you don't know. And this is a 750 milliliter bottle.
Wait, no, this was $34.99.
And the Knob Creek 7 was less expensive. Yeah. And that's another reason why I wanted to bring both of these out, because if this was too much, is that an alternative that you might want to go to if you're looking for a Knob Creek rye?
Good.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to the nose on the 7, which is the one on your right. She doesn't know rights or left. I think this must be a female thing in our family. Mom, does Anne Marie?
No, my mom didn't know her right from her left.
Everybody,
my sister struggles.
It's like on your right or on your left. They've got to think about it.
I have to pretend like I'm holding a pencil because I'm right-handed.
I write with this. I write with this hand, so it's my right.
My daughter, she was great when she was a kid, but as she's gotten older, like that has slipped away, and she struggles with it too. Genetic thing, that's just weird. Or if it's just a female thing that a lot of women struggle with that, I don't know.
Leave some comments down below if you struggle with right and left.
I'm actually curious. Like, do any men struggle with that? If you're a woman and you watch this channel, do you struggle with it too?
All right. So on the nose, I also need to let you know that we brought these up to her house and John's house probably about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I think, at this time. And we tasted them just to get an idea of whether this will be a video or not. And I think we decided that we liked them enough to do a video.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It has a rye note, and it smells pretty proofy, at least to me it does. And when I say a rye note, I would typically get pine, dill, like peppermint, some sort of herbal tea note, and every once in a while, it's a little floral. So based on those individual rye notes,
I would say it's more on the herbal tea side. Like, I don't pick up any peppermint or dill or any herby. It's funny that you say that it smells proofy. I think we did this with the Penelope. It does not smell proofy to me. It smells really soft.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It's stinging my nose.
Really?
Yeah, I think it smells pretty proofy.
Maybe my nose is just dead or broken or something, because I don't feel it burn at all whatsoever.
Okay. How about notes? Are you getting any fruit notes? Any spicy notes?
No spicy notes. Maybe a little bit of sweetness.
I'm picking up a little bit of a green apple or a red apple. And to me, I pick up pine. I pick up
Do
a
you
little
really?
bit. Yeah, I pick up a little bit of
Like
pine.
you're standing in a forest?
Not necessarily that strong. Maybe it's right before you get into the forest.
Oh, that's the best when the weather starts to cool and you're driving down the road and you roll the windows down and you get that first scent of pine needles.
All right, let's get
Okay.
this on the palate.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to camping.
Here's to camping. It's camping season. Oh, I wonder if this would be a campfire bourbon or a campfire rye.
Wouldn't you want some? Ooh,
That's spicy.
that's good.
That's spicy. To me, that is very spicy.
Really?
You like it?
I do.
Yeah. And that's the first sip of the day.
It is soft, like the nose is to me.
Okay. I'm not getting that softness.
Really?
Yeah, I'm getting pretty punchy. It is 100 proof, and I think it's drinking, at least to me, hotter than 100.
I have no heat going anywhere.
Okay.
Maybe I'm dead inside, just
No,
like my nose.
no, you're not dead
Like
inside.
what? I thought that was really. It feels kind of soft and delicate. Maybe there's a tiny bit of spice at first, and it was sweet. This does not taste like a rye.
The longer it sits for me, the more rye. We're on polar ends
I know,
here.
what?
We're on opposite ends.
So don't listen to me. I really don't know anything about
No,
whiskey.
this is what you're getting. So what you're getting is what you're getting. That's why palates are so different.
Well, and I just ate an apple too on my drive over. I wonder if that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But this comes across as a rye. I have pine notes. I get pretty good spice note in here as well. I would say ginger and pepper. And for me, it does come across as proofy.
Now that I'm sitting here, as you were yapping away, I do feel or taste a little bit, the slightest bit of like pine, but it's not strong. And I would not, it's not so strong that if you would not have been talking about pine, I wouldn't have been able to say, oh yeah, that's pine. I would have said, oh, there's this aftertaste, but I'm not quite sure what it is.
Okay, you ready to get the next one?
I am. I'm
All right.
excited about this one. I don't know if it's just because it's darker.
Oh, it is. It is quite dark. I think that's got to be the age, 7 to 10.
Yeah.
So while she's nosing and tasting this, just to give you some information about Knob Creek, and sometimes I take this for granted that people that are tuning into the station or the channel are experienced and know a lot. So I just want to let you know that Knob Creek is a Jim Beam product. Beam Centauri owns them. So whenever you see Knob Creek on the shelf, it's a Jim Beam product.
Interesting. Does it have any resemblance to Jim? Like when you taste it? Does it
Sometimes
have
I think
notes of?
like legacy distilleries that have been around for a long time, people will typically bring up certain aspects that are like keynotes to that. And I don't necessarily know if keynote's the right word, but there is a specific flavor that comes out of each distillery. Jim Beam is known for a nutty note, like
Okay.
peanut butter, maybe dried peanuts or dried nut notes. Buffalo Trace might have a strawberry or a grape popsicle stick note. People say that Wild Turkey might have a little bit of a Wild Turkey funk to it. So each time you taste or get into each legacy distillery, there might be a specific note that comes out. I don't get dustiness on
I
here.
just want to point out, did you notice that I didn't make a comment when you said nut notes?
Yes, just like you had highballs last time. So
But I did hear it.
Knob Creek Rye first showed up in 2012, and when they first brought out their
childish.
rye, I'm sitting next to a delinquent.
I'm such a child. I'm such a teenage boy.
So they ended up with they released their first rye in 2012, and it didn't have an age statement. The age statement on the Knob Creek 7 came out in 2023. That was the 7-year-old. And then this year, the 2024, they now have a 10-year age statement. And I do believe these will be normal releases. So the 7's going to stay on the shelf, and the 10 will also stay on the shelf.
All right, you want to know what I thought as I nosed it?
Yeah.
My first smell, it smelled like a bourbon. Like I got these really mapley, vanilla kinds of scents. But the longer that I'm sniffing on it, that kind of went not completely away. But now this smells proofier to me than this one does.
I think they smelled completely different, too.
They do smell completely
Yeah.
different. And I am getting a little bit of a forest scent on this.
Okay. I get more maple than anything.
Well, remember I said
Yeah.
my very first sip, that was the first thing I thought was, this smells like a bourbon.
Yeah.
It smelled really sweet, but then the longer I started to smell it, the nose began to change.
Yeah, this is pine to me. The 7-year is all pine, and the 10 is all maple. But other than that, I think they kind of have similar smells or similar notes to the nose. All right, cheers.
Right, cheers. Well, that's definitely hotter. Way hotter.
I think it is, yeah, I want to say that it's drinking hotter than the 7, but the notes that we're getting, almost like it's evaporating from your tongue.
Yeah, and dusty.
It comes across, oh, you're getting dust?
Yeah, yes.
Like the Jim Beam nuttiness?
Maybe that's what it is, yeah.
Does it taste like crushed up peanut shells? Or
Yeah,
the actual
either that or
peanut
when
itself?
I'm dusting my TV table
No.
and I get a little bit of dust
Well,
in
that's
my
not
mouth.
good. That's not good at all.
No,
First impressions, which one do you like more? The 7 or the 10?
This one.
The 7?
and I think I actually remember that from when we tasted it at my house a couple weeks ago. First of all, I was surprised that neither one of them tasted like what I remembered rye. I haven't had a rye in a really long time since we did the rye videos when we were making all those mixed drinks. I was going to say cocktails, and then I changed my mind because when I was watching today's video, I thought this could be a drinking game. Every time we say the word cocktail, we should take a drink.
So I got to tell you, we are on the complete opposite sides of the spectrum today.
Okay.
I am not a fan of this. I do like this. I'm getting pine notes out of here, and this is all maple for me. I think the 7 is drinking hotter than the 10.
Wow. See, and I think the opposite. I think this is definitely hotter than this.
All right, so
Should we try them? Try a
I'm gonna drop some water in these just because I'm gonna try everything with water, and I'm not gonna tell anybody how to drink their whiskey. You drink it however you want, just for review purposes only. I would like to add water to mine to see if it changes anything. I'm not the biggest spice person, and typically I end up getting more spice once I add water to something. So let's go ahead and see how that goes. Would you like
Okay.
some water in yours
Sure.
or not? Now, I also need
When
to
in
let you
Rome.
know that Jim Beam came out with the Knob Creek lineup originally in 1992 is when the first Knob Creek hit the shelves. And Knob Creek, if you're thinking about like the naming of things, apparently there is the Knob Creek running through where the distillery is, so they end up using the word Knob Creek to name it after the creek that they're using for the distillery.
Oh yeah, now that brought out the proofiness.
Really,
Now it smells
doubled.
hot.
It doubled the spice and it doubled the pine for me now.
That seems like it took all that maple smell away.
Really? Yeah, I'm not getting much maple, but I am getting a lot more spice.
Okay, which one are you going through?
Let's try it with the 7.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that. It brought out so much spice and so much pine that it's almost like you're chewing on pine needles and then, drowning it out with some alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that,
That made
is
it
with
taste
water at all.
very alcohol-y flavored. What is the word that you use for that?
Like acetone, astringent.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that one with the water. All right, let's go ahead and get the number 10. The number 10.
The number.
The 10-year-old. I still like the way this smells. That maple note with a small amount of ginger and pepper spice with a little bit of pine. I think this smells more balanced on the nose than this. All right,
Okay.
let's get this on the palate. Cheers.
That seemed to have made it softer.
It did. I used the term collapse. It almost takes all of those intense flavors and they fold in on themselves. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily, well, it is. It's softer because we proofed it down, but it muted a lot of the flavors. My belief, I don't think water does these justice.
No.
Even though they weren't the best without water, I think the water made them worse. So going forward, these will probably be products that I would not put water in.
Yeah.
I might even relegate them to mixers. All right.
Okay.
Are you ready to get onto a score?
I am.
All right. So if you're new to the channel, I rate everything out of 5 stars because we have these 2 bottles here. I am rating the 7-year-old lower than the 10, but they're definitely going to be very, very close. Which one did you prefer, the 7 or the 10?
I think I preferred the 7.
Okay. So with the 7, it's not horrible, but I'm just going to give it a flat 3 out of 5 stars.
I would, yeah. Yeah.
And then because I like the 10 ever so slightly more, I'm going to give the 10-year a 3.25. And I think that might be a little bit too generous. Even at the price, $69.99, I don't think I like this at double the price. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to give them both 3s. Because of the price, I'm not going to put this at 3.25. Even though I like it more than this, the price is going to knock it down. So I'm just going to go 3
3s
on both. Not too terribly impressed with either one.
Yeah.
To be honest.
They're nothing that I would reach for to drink on their own.
Yeah. All right.
Especially when you have this amount in your collection.
Yeah, it's difficult once you get to the point where I am now with my collection. I think I've got almost 400 bottles in my collection. There's a certain time where a lot of them are just going to be pushed to the back of the shelf and forgot about until like a flight fight comes up that I need to grab them, or if we get on these cocktail kicks where we start using them up.
Yeah.
Like all of my ryes I used in a bunch of cocktails, and I've got maybe like this much left in each of my rye bottles. But I have picked up a couple of different new ryes, so.
We should have thought about that before we did this video and had a cocktail prepared in mind to like do at the end.
All right. So you think we got this exhausted?
I think we do.
All right.
I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted?
I am. I'm tired of drinking not so good whiskey.
Whiskeys.
So if you have stuck around this far, I do need to give some information for the May and June. I think it's actually just the June giveaway. I've made an executive decision. For my June giveaway, I am automatically going to include the Jim Beam flight. So anybody or whoever wins the June giveaway is automatically going to get the 6 bottles that the 2 of us did in the Jim Beam flight. And then you can choose 6 more 2-ounce samples of anything that I did in June. It was a horrible reveal on that Jim Beam flight. I just got all flustered, and we were rushing it at the very end.
Imagine that 2 people revealing their different top 1, 2, like
it could have been organized a little bit better. It could have. So I do apologize for that. The rules for the giveaway are going to be found in the description below. If you take a look at the community tab, we just got back from the KCBS barbecue event over in Temecula. Didn't do so well in that event. It was our first Master Series, and we went up against some pretty heavy hitters in, I think it's like the West Coast circuit.
Yeah.
Luton Booty ended up taking the grand champion. The grand champion. Is it grand?
Yeah.
I always forget the name of it. The grand champion.
Right, because the next one down is
event.
Reserve Grand.
Yeah. So he ended up taking that. He's a guy from Arizona. So hats off to him. He did a fantastic job. The scores were pretty damn high across the board in all 4 categories. Even though we did place, or we got our name called for brisket. 10th place, $25, and we got a little Ignite little lanyard. So our next event is coming up in about a week and a half, and we're going to head back to Riverside, and we're going to be doing the Burnt Offerings event. And if you go onto the Facebook page of Burnt Offerings, you can see all of the teams that registered for that event were the same teams that were pretty much basically at our event in
They kind
Temecula.
of follow each other.
Yeah, they do.
around.
It's kind of like this whole circuit. So hopefully,
It's like a little barbecue cult.
well, yeah, it is. So hopefully we do a little bit better with our not necessarily presentations, but our flavor profiles were, for some reason, just were not there.
I think part of it was the meat too. Well,
There
at
was-
least
there
for the
was
ribs,
something-
there was something funky with
There was
the meat.
something not right. But I do need to finish this off by letting you guys know, on the way back, we had
It was Father's Day too.
It was. And we rented a U-Haul. It was in an enclosed U-Haul. We were driving through Indio. We got out of Indio where all those, is it like Palm Springs where all the fans
Yeah,
are?
where all the big
windmills are?
windmills.
We got maybe 45 minutes to an hour outside of Palm Springs, Indio area. And we heard a pop. And Mary Bridget looked out the window and said, "You just blew a tire
I just
in
blew
the
a tire. I
in
saw
the
like
U-Haul."
rubber going down the road.
Yeah, so we pulled off to the side. I jumped out. We're taking a look at it, and the wheel caught on fire. So it was a two-wheel, two-axle U-Haul,
U-Haul.
and the front passenger side blew and started on fire. So I went back to the truck, asked for the key for the U-Haul in the back, unlocked it, came out, and then doused it with the fire extinguisher.
Which we were lucky we had on hand
Yep.
because they're required for barbecue competitions.
Put it out. 10 seconds later, it ignited again. So it started on fire again. And this is weird because I was telling them, you get a one-track mind. It's like, oh, I used the fire extinguisher and it didn't work. Now what?
Right.
I wasn't really necessarily thinking. And
Well, it was
probably
like-
about 5 minutes later, John
No,
is
it was
sitting
me.
out
I
there.
was like,
Oh,
what
that's
about
right.
all the water that we have left over from the competition? We didn't dump it. So I jumped in the back of the U-Haul. And, of course, they pack everything in there like Tetris. And I'm like trying to pull this big water jug out to be able to douse it.
So we got the water, got it out. The fire department came out. The a highway patrolman came out. We ended up pitching our canopy down into this little gully off the side of the road. We waited for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours for the tow truck.
It was more than that. John and I were talking
It was
about
a
that. It
while.
was close to 3 hours. It was
Yeah.
like 2.5
105
hours.
degree weather. Tow truck showed up. We drove an hour back into Indio, ended up unloading everything from the U-Haul, loading it into another U-Haul, getting back on the road. And I think it was like 7, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock by the time
we got home. So it was a long trip back home. But every time somebody said something, I thought, hey, we placed in brisket. And I look on the bright side.
And I said to John, I feel so bad for you. What a horrible Father's Day. Like, you're supposed to be relaxing in the pool. We're supposed to be bringing you drinks. And he's like, it wasn't that bad. He said, I was with my 2 favorite girls. So our daughter was there. And he said, and with my best friend, which my husband happens to be his best friend, which is how I met him. And he goes, so I didn't mind because I was with all my favorite people and we just sat there and hung out.
Yep. So that was the adventure, and that's where we're going to leave it. So wherever you're at in your journey, I hope you are enjoying it.
You did mix. Because we're
enjoying
definitely
this.
enjoying ours. And I'm starting to enjoy it more.
Yeah, Mary Bridget's going to stick around, and we're going to shoot a versus video, a battle of the bottles. We have that all set up, so as soon as we get this blend going for Tony.
And what you didn't mention
What?
is the bottles that we got while we were there.
Oh, that's right, Bardstown Bourbon Company. We don't get that in Phoenix, Arizona. So we decided to stop into a Total Wine in California, and sure enough, Bardstown Bourbon Company was on the shelf. Every time I go into Trevor's Liquor is basically where I do the majority of my shopping now. I keep on asking them, can you get Bardstown? Get Bardstown, because I've heard so many good things about it. They're like, they don't distribute here. We can't get them. So I was happy to see it on the shelf. Picked up the Foursquare collaboration and then their Origin series, their weeded bourbon. And boy, that is now probably one of my favorite weeded bourbons that I have in my collection.
They were good.
All right.
I'm surprised we're not doing a video on those.
Eventually I will. When we head back to Riverside, I'm gonna stop in and get 2 more bottles of Bardstown. And what I'll end up doing is doing a First Friday flight fight of the Bardstown that I have.
Now that tastes like pine.
Yeah, it's super piney on the
that
nose.
brought out all the pine.
Let's get it on the palate.
Yeah.
Super spicy, super astringent, and very piney.
Yeah.
I think it's a blend that you can skip.
I would agree.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay.
until the next time, wherever you're at in your journey, I hope you are enjoying it
Because we are definitely enjoying ours.
because we already said that. And then we will see you guys again on Wednesday because I think we still have one Wednesday Sip It or
Sip
Skip
it or
It
skip
video.
it that we already filmed in.
So that's going to be at
June.
the end of June. And the shooting of this video, which is going to be June 24th, you have 2 more days until Wednesday, June 26th, to enter into the May giveaway. Again, the rules are in the description below. That's it. I know we've rambled on long enough, so we'll see you guys later.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.